Welcome back to Icons of Influence, where we spotlight extraordinary individuals who have used their platform for greater change. If you have liked any of our content, please like and subscribe so we can keep going. I'm Hannah Halley, and today we're diving into the life of an actress who has not only defined entire eras of television, but has also shaped cultural conversations around feminism, mental health, and social justice. Gillian Anderson is a name synonymous with strength, intelligence, and reinvention. From her groundbreaking role as Dana Scully in The X-Files to her powerful performances in The Crown and Sex Education, she has captivated audiences for decades. But beyond the screen, she's been a fierce advocate for women's rights, a mental health champion, and a voice for survivors of abuse. Today, we'll explore the incredible journey of Gillian Anderson, her rise to fame, her activism, and the lasting impact she continues to make. Let's get started. Gillian Anderson's journey to stardom wasn't an overnight success. In fact, her early years were filled with culture shifts, personal challenges, and a relentless drive to prove herself in an industry that wasn't always welcoming. Born on August 9, 1968, in Chicago, Illinois, Anderson's childhood was anything but conventional. Her family moved to London, England, when she was just a toddler, and she spent most of her formative years in the UK. This dual upbringing gave her a deep appreciation for both British and American culture, and it would later become a defining characteristic of her career, allowing her to seamlessly slip between accents and characters from both sides of the Atlantic. At the age of 11, her family relocated back to the US, settling in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The transition wasn't easy. Anderson struggled to fit in. Her British accent and punk-inspired fashion made her stand out in a conservative Midwestern environment. She rebelled as a teenager, experimenting with punk rock, dyed hair, and even a nose ring. Far from the poised and refined characters she would later portray on screen. But despite her rebellious streak, acting was always her true passion. She discovered theatre in high school and quickly fell in love with the art of performance. This love for storytelling led her to study acting at theatre school at DePaul University in Chicago, one of the top drama programs in the US. After graduating, she moved to New York City, where she began her career in off-Broadway theatre. Like many struggling actors, she juggled auditions with low-paying jobs to make ends meet. At first, Anderson had no interest in television. She was drawn to the depth of stage acting and aimed to build a career in theatre. But as opportunities in film and TV started to come her way, she took a leap, one that would change her life forever. In 1993, at just 25 years old, Anderson was cast as FBI Special Agent Dana Scully in The X-Files. But getting the role wasn't easy. At the time, network executives wanted a more conventionally sexy actress, someone with a Hollywood-style bombshell appeal. Anderson, with her intelligence, quiet strength, and naturalistic acting, was the complete opposite of what was expected for female leads in sci-fi at the time. But X-Files creator Chris Carter fought for Anderson. He saw in her the perfect balance of scientific rationality, depth, and quiet charisma that would make Scully one of the most compelling female characters in television history. The show debuted in 1993, and it was an instant hit. Viewers were captivated by the chemistry between Scully and Mulder, played by David Duchovny, and the show's perfect blend of sci-fi, mystery, and government conspiracy. But what made The X-Files truly groundbreaking was Dana Scully herself. Scully was unlike most female characters on TV at the time. She was a forensic pathologist, a scientist, and a skeptic, the perfect counterbalance to Mulder's believer mentality. She wasn't just a sidekick or love interest. She was an equal partner in every way. Her intelligence and no-nonsense approach to problem-solving redefined the role of women in genre television, proving that female leads could be both brilliant and multidimensional. So, let's talk about the Scully effect. As The X-Files grew in popularity, something incredible started happening. Women across the world began entering STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, careers, citing Scully as their inspiration. This became known as the Scully effect, a real-world phenomenon where young women were encouraged to pursue careers in medicine, biology, forensic science, and law enforcement because they had grown up watching Anderson portray a strong, competent scientist on screen. The impact was so profound that studies have since been conducted showing that The X-Files was directly responsible for influencing women's career paths in science and technology. Anderson herself has spoken about the overwhelming number of female doctors, scientists, and FBI agents who have approached her over the years, thanking her for inspiring them. Her performance earned her an Emmy Award, a Golden Globe, and a Screen Actors Guild Award, solidifying her status as one of the most respected actresses of her generation. But more importantly, it made her a cultural icon, not just in entertainment, but in women's empowerment and representation. But Anderson wasn't content with being just a TV star. She wanted to prove that she could do more than The X-Files, and she would soon take bold steps to reinvent herself, both as an actress and as an activist. After a decade of playing the brilliant and skeptical Agent Scully, Gillian Anderson could have easily stayed in the sci-fi genre, reprising similar roles and continuing as a pop culture icon. But Anderson isn't one to be typecast. Instead, she did something incredibly bold. She walked away from the Hollywood mainstream to reinvent herself as a dramatic actress in roles that showcased her depth and versatility. When The X-Files ended its initial run in 2002, many expected Anderson to transition straight into blockbuster films or another major TV franchise. But instead, she made a surprising choice. She moved to London, the city where she had spent part of her childhood, and focused on stage acting and independent films. It was a risky move. In Hollywood, she was a household name, but in the UK's theatre world, she had to prove herself all over again. And prove herself she did. Acclaimed theatre performances. Anderson threw herself into British theatre, taking on complex, demanding roles in some of the most respected productions on the West End. Her stage career flourished with standout performances, including Blanche Dubois in A Streetcar Named Desire, 2014 and 2016, a role that earned her widespread critical acclaim, with some even calling it the performance of her career. Anderson's portrayal of the fragile yet fiery Blanche showed a completely different side of her acting abilities, proving she could embody the most emotionally demanding characters. The We Have Lily Bart in The House of Mirth, 2000, her performance in this film adaptation of Edith Wharton's novel was a stark departure from sci-fi, showcasing her ability to carry period dramas with elegance and emotional depth. And of course, Miss Havisham in Great Expectations, 2011 BBC miniseries, a role that cemented her status as one of the UK's most respected dramatic actresses. Her success in theatre and period dramas wasn't just about proving a point, it was about artistic fulfilment. Anderson has always said she's drawn to characters with complex psychology, deep inner struggles, and strong yet flawed personalities. Dominating television drama, The Fall, Sex Education, and The Crown. As she built her reputation in theatre, Anderson also made a triumphant return to television, but on her own terms, choosing roles that were vastly different from Dana Scully. Including a personal favourite, DSI Stella Gibson in The Fall, 2013-2016, Anderson's role as Detective Superintendent Stella Gibson, a highly intelligent and emotionally complex investigator hunting a serial killer in Belfast, was a revelation. This wasn't your typical crime drama, and Anderson's subtle yet commanding performance made the show one of the most compelling psychological thrillers in recent memory. Stella Gibson wasn't just a detective. She was a feminist icon, unapologetic about her intelligence, sexuality, and leadership. The Fall further proved Anderson's ability to carry a series, receiving critical acclaim and a cult following. And more recently, Jean Milburn in Sex Education, 2019-2023, then came a role that surprised many. Anderson as Jean Milburn, a confident, slightly eccentric sex therapist and single mother in Netflix's hit comedy Sex Education. Her portrayal was hilarious, bold, and deeply human, showing a completely different side to her acting. The role won her millions of new fans among younger audiences and cemented her as an actress who could balance serious drama with comedy. Finally, with quite a transformation, Margaret Thatcher in The Crown, 2020. If anyone still doubted Anderson's range, her portrayal of former UK Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher in The Crown silenced them. Her chillingly accurate transformation from mannerisms to voice was so compelling that it earned her a Golden Globe and an Emmy Award. Anderson completely disappeared into the role, proving once again that she was one of the most skilled actresses of her generation. Anderson's career is a masterclass in reinvention. She has refused to be boxed into one genre, one character, or one industry. From American sci-fi to British period dramas, intense psychological thrillers, and laugh-out-loud comedy, she has defied expectations at every turn. She has also become a symbol of resilience in an industry that often pushes women to the sidelines after a certain age. While Hollywood often limits actresses in their 40s and beyond, Anderson has thrived, proving that talent and intelligence matter more than industry norms. But acting isn't her only passion. Behind the scenes, Anderson has become a fierce advocate for women's rights, mental health, and social justice, something we'll explore next. Gillian Anderson isn't just an actress. She's a passionate activist and advocate for causes she deeply believes in. While her on-screen characters have inspired generations, her real-life impact may be even greater. From fighting for women's rights and mental health awareness to using her platform to amplify critical global issues, Anderson has proven that celebrity influence can be used for meaningful change. So let's talk about Anderson as champion for women's rights and gender equality. Anderson has long been an outspoken advocate for women's rights. She has worked tirelessly to promote gender equality, particularly in the entertainment industry, where she has challenged sexism and fought for equal pay. Let's look at this in TOR detail. Firstly, fighting for equal pay in Hollywood. During The X-Files, Anderson was initially paid significantly less than her co-star David Duchovny, despite playing an equally important lead role. Even when the series returned for a revival in 2016, she had to fight once again for equal pay, highlighting the persistent gender wage gap in Hollywood. Instead of staying silent, she spoke out, helping to bring awareness to pay inequality in the entertainment industry. She has been empowering women in film and television. Anderson has actively supported women-led projects, both as an actress and producer. She advocates for more female directors, writers, and showrunners, ensuring that women have a stronger voice in shaping stories on screen. And Anderson has been speaking out against sexual harassment. In the wake of the No Me Too movement, Anderson was vocal about the importance of holding powerful men accountable and creating safer workplaces for women in the entertainment industry. She continues to use her platform to amplify conversations around consent, safety, and respect in Hollywood and beyond. Moving on to mental health advocacy and the fight to end the associated stigma. This is another cause close to Anderson's heart, mental health awareness. She has been open about her own struggles and has consistently advocated for ending the stigma surrounding mental illness. Anderson has spoken candidly about her experiences with depression and anxiety, particularly during the early years of The X-Files, when she struggled with the pressures of fame. By sharing her personal journey, she has helped others feel less alone and encouraged more open discussions about mental health. Anderson has worked with multiple mental health organisations, including Mind and Young Minds, to raise awareness and support those struggling with mental health conditions. She actively promotes therapy and mental wellness, advocating for accessible resources for those in need. Next, let's take a look at Gillian's advocacy for LGBTQ+ rights. A long-time ally of the LGBTQ+ community, Gillian has used her voice to advocate for equal rights, representation, and visibility. This starts with breaking stereotypes on screen. Her portrayal of LGBTQ+ characters such as Stella Gibson in The Fall and Dr. Bedelia du Maurier in Hannibal has been praised for avoiding cliches and portraying multidimensional queer characters. She has also called for better LGBTQ+ representation in film and television. followed by her public support and activism. Anderson has publicly supported marriage equality, anti-discrimination laws, and LGBTQ+ mental health initiatives. She has participated in pride campaigns, lending her voice to amplify LGBTQ+ causes worldwide. In addition to all of this, beyond Hollywood, Anderson has dedicated time and resources to global humanitarian efforts. She has worked with numerous charities and organisations, advocating for those affected by poverty, conflict and injustice. This includes projects like the Trevor Project, where Anderson has supported this leading LGBTQ+ suicide prevention organisation, helping to raise awareness for at-risk youth. Another example, Survival International, where she has been a long-time supporter of Indigenous rights, working to protect Indigenous communities from exploitation and environmental destruction. And neurofibromatosis research, a cause that is deeply personal to Anderson, as her brother passed away from the disease in 2011. She has worked to fundraise and spread awareness about neurofibromatosis research and treatments. What makes Anderson's activism so powerful is that it's genuine. She doesn't just sign petitions or show up for photo ops. She actively engages, speaks out, and uses her platform to spark real conversations. She challenges injustice head-on. Whether it's calling out sexism in Hollywood, advocating for mental health awareness, or defending LGBTQ+ rights, Anderson refuses to be silent on issues that matter. She leads by example. From working with grassroots organisations to donating time and resources, she backs up her words with meaningful action. She inspires millions. Through her activism, she has shown that celebrities have the power to create real social change, not just through their art, but through their commitment to fighting for a better world. Anderson's impact as an activist is as significant as her career as an actress. She has used her voice, influence, and passion to challenge the status quo, empower marginalised communities, and push for a more just, equal, and compassionate world. But beyond activism, she has also explored new creative avenues, including writing, directing, and producing, which is what we'll dive into next. While many actors are content to stay in front of the camera, Gillian Anderson has never been one to follow the conventional path. Over the years, she has expanded her creative horizons, taking on roles as a writer, producer, and director. Her influence on the entertainment industry continues to grow, not just through her performances, but through the stories she helps bring to life. Today, we explore how Anderson is shaping the future of storytelling and what her lasting legacy looks like. Beyond acting, Anderson has explored the world of writing, proving that her creativity extends far beyond the screen. Anderson is a best-selling author. In 2014, she co-wrote A Vision of Fire, the first book in the Earth End saga, a sci-fi thriller series blending psychological suspense, supernatural elements, and global intrigue. The series, co-authored with Jeff Rovin, showcased Anderson's fascination with complex, thought-provoking narratives and solidified her as a serious writer. She later co-authored the book We, a manifesto for women everywhere, a deeply personal and inspirational guide aimed at empowering women to embrace their strengths, overcome self-doubt, and live authentically. Anderson also writes for screen and stage, having shown interest in developing scripts and adapting powerful stories for television and film. She has been involved in script development and production, ensuring that strong, meaningful stories, particularly those centering on women's experiences, reach audiences. Her work as an author highlights her intellectual depth, passion for storytelling, and commitment to amplifying voices that often go unheard. Anderson isn't just choosing strong acting roles, she's shaping the narratives themselves by taking on roles as a producer. By becoming a producer, Anderson has stepped behind the camera in recent years, taking on producer roles in television projects that align with her values. Her producing work ensures that stories told from diverse perspectives, especially those about women, are given the attention they deserve. She is particularly interested in developing stories with psychological depth, political relevance, and strong female protagonists. These projects reflect her vision, challenging traditional storytelling, ensuring that entertainment is not just engaging, but also thought-provoking and socially relevant. She is drawn to historical dramas, psychological thrillers, and feminist narratives, using her platform to bring complex, intelligent, and layered characters to the screen. By stepping into producing and development, Anderson is ensuring that she has more control over the types of stories she wants to tell, stories that challenge, inspire, and provoke thought. Anderson's impact on Hollywood and the entertainment industry extends beyond the roles she plays. She is actively shaping the future of film and television. Through her career choices, activism, and creative projects, Anderson is paving the way for strong, independent women in the industry. She has shown that women in entertainment can take control of their careers, demand fair treatment, and create the content they want to see in the world. From Dana Scully in The X-Files to Stella Gibson in The Fall and Margaret Thatcher in The Crown, Anderson has made a career out of portraying powerful, intelligent women. She has been deliberate in choosing roles that break stereotypes, proving that women in film and television can be just as complex, flawed, and fascinating as their male counterparts. Anderson's move into writing, producing, and developing projects gives her the freedom to bring fresh, bold, and challenging stories to audiences. She is committed to telling stories that matter, whether they focus on gender equality, mental health, politics, or social justice. So, what is Gillian Anderson's legacy? It's not just one thing, it's a multifaceted, ever-evolving impact on entertainment and activism. As a trailblazer in television and film, she has redefined what it means to be a female lead, especially in science fiction, crime dramas, and political thrillers. She has paved the way for more complex, independent female protagonists, inspiring generations of women in entertainment. As a voice for change, Anderson has used her fame not just for personal success, but for advocacy, activism, and philanthropy. Whether she's fighting for equal pay, supporting mental health initiatives, or advocating for women's rights, she has consistently used her voice to stand up for what she believes in. As a creator of stories that matter through her writing, producing, and acting, Anderson ensures that intelligent, meaningful storytelling remains at the heart of entertainment. Her choices reflect a deep commitment to quality, integrity, and artistic bravery. So what's next for Gillian Anderson? If history has shown us anything, it's that she's always evolving, always challenging the norm, and always finding new ways to make an impact. Whether it's through acting, writing, producing, or activism, one thing is certain: her influence is far from over. And that wraps up today's episode of Icons of Influence. If you love this deep dive into Gillian Anderson's career and legacy, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.